738 West Broadway. That's right. Two big brains, two old men closed it down, bitches.
Shut it down. The lights went on. All right, time to go.
It was 11 o'clock.
The wives drive.
Yes. I asked my wife, I go, Lee, it's only 11. We could, go somewhere. She looked at me like I had 7 heads.
Yeah.
11. Come on. Let's go, Sean Black. Yeah, 11 o'clock. We did shut it down. Hey, we got to have you, Sean. Pound everybody to pound the like button. I found out that's really important.
It is important.
I did not know this.
It is. Subscribe.
I didn't know.
I say it at the beginning of all the, Breakfast with Kents. We don't do that here. Subscribe, ring the bell so you get an alert every time we go live or post a video.
Yeah, we need you.
It's that simple.
We need you. Sean is not sold on Anthony Richardson, so let's discuss.
Yeah.
Let's go Jim Irsay first. Jim Irsay not happy with Daniel Snyder. I'm going to give you my take. You give me yours. My take is that nothing happens in a vacuum. There's always a backstory. Going back to October when Jimmy Irsay was the first owner to come out and be very critical of Daniel Snyder to the point where he said, we got to get this guy out of here. Hello, Jen Gritty. And everybody was like, oh my God, I can't believe. I heard this yesterday, that the Colts suspected Snyder and his operatives of doing work on Luck as long back as a year ago for this upcoming season.
Yeah.
And now it's just kind of coming out. But I got to tell you, so there's always a backstory. People say, well, why did Jimmy Irsay come out so hard against Snyder? Well, that relationship is different. Like, he gave that guy, 24 million to go away.
Yeah.
It's like a father-son kind of thing. And I think Jimmy Irsay takes, in this case, Daniel Snyder really, really personal, going at a guy that he considers, not a son, but Manning-esque in terms of his relationship.
Right.
Would you agree?
I would agree with that, and I would also agree that Dan Snyder is the one of the 31 owners, not including the Packers because they're owned by that collective, that you can go after.
Yeah.
Like, you can take him apart. Yeah. You don't go after Stan Kroenke. You don't go after Jerry Jones. There are owners that you let do their whatever they want to do, but Daniel Snyder's not one of those. And he couldn't anyway. I mean, Andrew Luck remains under contract to the Indianapolis Colts for 3 years after Andrew Luck says, I want to come back and play. So there's nothing
That's
that
the
can be
tampering.
done.
That's where the tampering comes in.
Yeah.
And it's stupid tampering.
Right.
It's like I got a friend that still bets with a bookie, and in in Indy, it's legal to bet.
Yeah.
So why are you betting with a bookie? Why are you tampering? Why are you violating rules when you can't get the guy anyway?
Daniel Snyder is Kendall Roy. That's who Daniel Snyder is. Kendall Roy be, screw him.
Right.
Hey, we're going to go get him.
Right.
No, you can't go get him, you dumbass.
Yeah.
You're just breaking rules for the sake of breaking rules.
Fuck off. No, but you're right. And you know what? I think Irsay, he fired the shot. And I'm reading people say, well, he's warning all the NFL.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think he's just having some fun.
I do too. I'm glad to hear you say that, because you were the first one that I saw put that out today, and I think you're right. I think Irsay's just like, I'm going to screw around here a little bit.
You screw around on Twitter. If you're going to go after somebody, I think you do it at the owners' meetings behind closed doors. You do it in back channels.
Yeah.
You don't do it on Twitter.
This
is just fun.
Or you do it when he did it in October, when he kind of met with the media and had a zillion reporters around him. That's when you say, well, we're going to really look into Daniel Snyder, right? You don't do it with a tweet.
No.
I mean, you can, but you're a billionaire and you got the voice, or Jim Irsay could say right now, I'm calling a press conference on Daniel Snyder, and they're tampering with Andrew Luck. Keywords being Irsay, press conference, Snyder, Luck.
Right.
And it would be packed with the Peter Kings, the chef, everybody. Yeah. He doesn't need to do it with a tweet.
Right.
To your point.
Right. And so it's a non-story. I think it's just Jim having fun. And it's another one of those stories where we can talk about Jim Irsay as kind of the Phil Hartman, Ronald Reagan guy who's kind of this, knucklehead out in public, but in private, he's the shark.
Right.
you know, and so that's kind of fun.
Yeah, I'm tweeting this out so more people join. But to me, one of the things about Jim Irsay, and I always go to the personal level. So, what triggered? Did he get a piece of information? Did he just hear it? And now you wake up, and I don't know if he does his tweets. Seems like he does. But do you wake up and go, I'm going to address this. I'm just going to put this out to everybody. I guess what puts that over the edge for you? Do you think?
He's doing it right now?
Yeah.
That's a really interesting question. Because there's nothing that we need to be distracted by or from. Anthony Richardson was fine this weekend. Steichen was fine. Everybody's fine. There's nothing that's gone on with the Colts that's untoward. And you need to, maybe tomorrow or Wednesday, there's going to be a shiny ball that Jim Irsay wants to get out in front of. He's not a random guy.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. So
hey, by the way, we got 38 watching, 7 likes. Let's go. More likes. Let's go. Anyway, it's like you wake up, like I wake up and you do breakfast with Kent. So you tweet it out. There's a thought. I wake up and I'm going to promote what we got on the Outkick show. And so there's a thought, but Irsay knows by him tweeting this is news everywhere.
Yeah.
And he also knows, maybe, just maybe, do you think that he's keeping the Colts in front of people's minds to buy season tickets, to make sponsorships happen? Is he putting it, and now the players are like, wow, Jimmy Irsay, he's taking care of us.
Or maybe it's gotten back to Irsay and the owners that Daniel Snyder is balking at the $6 billion.
Oh.
And somehow, because it's like Magic Johnson and some cabal of big money people are going to pay $6 billion, but the deal's not signed. It's not done. It's not an exclusive offer.
Yeah.
There's others, and so maybe Snyder wants to keep the Commanders, and Irsay wants him out. So here's another chip toward getting out.
And I will promise, I will look you dead in the eye, Indianapolis, because I've told you this for 14 years. There is always a backstory.
Always.
Don't tell me that this is just something on the surface. That's why I asked you to quit. On a whim, there is a backstory, and what you just said may be the backstory. Like, hey, he's balking. And Irsay is the front man for the owners for the anti-Daniel Snyder movement.
Yeah.
He's been the guy.
Yeah.
But don't even try to tell me that it's always a backstory. Always.
People who have achieved a level of success don't do things randomly. They plan everything. They're very prepared for whatever they're going to do. We do things randomly. Like, that's why I'm where I'm at.
Me too.
That, that sounds like fun. Hey, Paulie Balls just sent me a text and said, why don't you tweet this? Oh, okay. So I tweet that and the world explodes. This is what happens. This is why you don't take Twitter advice from Paulie Balls.
No. My wife always says, I'll be concentrating and looking dead in the eye, and then all of a sudden I'll go, ooh, shiny. She's like, you have the brain. Like you and I, if they had those tests for ADHD, we would be,
when we were kids,
we'd be spectruming our ass off.
Yeah.
All right, so I told you this was going to happen. I think Kent told you this was going to happen. You knew this was going to happen. Every time Anthony Richardson took a dump, it was the greatest dump ever. Every pass was laid right in there. I can't believe. And the great Morocco Brown, he of the Three Stooges, he of the Ed Dobbs, Chris Ballard, Morocco Brown, whatever the Morocco Brown is, they decreed that if he's going to be a superstar, is going to be it here. And damn it, he's a unicorn, Morocco Brown said. Ballard said, I'm drafted and a superstar is going to be here. Shut up. I'm sorry. You go the other way. It's May and we're happy. I say shut up.
I think he's right.
Oh.
But I wish he wouldn't say things like that, because then you put that kid in a position, a 20-year-old kid who's trying to figure out how to be a professional, how to be a millionaire, how to be a leader, all of these things after he's played 13 college games. You're putting a lot of weight on that kid's shoulders. And what is this? The series called, Behind the Draft or With the Next Pick.
No.
All right. This is very good for the careers of Chris Ballard, Morocco Brown, and Ed Dodds.
Sure.
I don't know how it brings a win to the Indianapolis Colts. I don't think they're going to have a better record because this thing's produced. And if your eyes are trained on something other than winning games, you're screwing up.
I've told the Indianapolis people that this has been built on a house of PR sand for years.
Yeah.
And I believe that. I believe that PR, you and I have talked about it so many times. How many times has Ballard said, well, Twitter will kill me, or you guys are, shut up with that crap. Walk like a man. Ballard, I was thinking about this relative to the Kentucky Derby, because he invited me to the Kentucky Derby a year ago, and of course that's long since been, whatever, we haven't communicated. But I thought, what kind of better would Ballard be? Ballard would be the guy that shows up at the window, $2 on the nose of the favorite, and hope like crazy.
Like, $8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and even if he placed, he won 20 cents. I mean, he's not. So now he takes a big swing. I'm curious, because I did hear this. I got one guy that fills me in on a lot of stuff. I did hear that this was big time Irsay's daughters, and Irsay saying, Anthony Richardson's our fucking guy.
Really?
I did. I heard that from somebody that, let me put it this way, is he no, but do I trust him? Pretty much. I heard that, and see, Irsay's daughters were in the meetings, the head coaching interview meetings.
Yeah, right.
They're in, like when I saw his daughter wearing a headset on the sideline with some kind of chart during the game, I asked the guy, I go, is that headset connected let me be a misogynist here, like concessions? Is it security? Is it...
Maybe it's WTTS.
I don't know.
She's a big Adele fan.
Yes.
Who knows?
No, apparently it was the same things that the coaches were.
Really?
That's what I was told. And again...
that can't help.
How does that help?
Yeah, I don't think it does. I don't.
Information is power, and she's getting all the information she needs?
But, if I went to Russia and I sat in, a meeting of the Politburo or whatever they call these people, and they're speaking in Russian, I'm getting all the information, but I have no idea what these people are saying. I don't...
You think that she is so... You to Russian is like... Lauren or whatever they used to football, and she owns the team?
Maybe that was an overstatement. Maybe that was an ingracious metaphor. But
I think that was mansplaining. Cancel him. Cancel him. He just mansplained.
We don't... What they've done a poor job of is letting us know what they know. We don't know what the daughters know.
No, right.
They come out for all the kick the stigma,
the mental health
stuff and sponsor stuff, but we don't know what they know about football. It would be good for us to know, but that is kept from us, and maybe that's kept from us for a pretty good reason.
I'm sure it is. I'm telling you, I heard this about a lot, that Richardson was Irsay's guy. Period. I've gone with you as long as I can go with you, with Rivers, with Wentz, with Ryan, and I'm done with it.
Yeah.
We need energy, and I heard he was adamant about it. In fact, one of the heads of ESPN texted me before the draft. In fact, he's the guy that runs the draft, Lee Fitting. He goes, you tied into the Colts? I go, nah, not really. What do you need? He goes, who are they taking? I go, well, they think they could possibly get Stroud at 4, and if they could get Stroud, I'm not sure they would take Stroud over Richardson.
Yeah.
Because I kept hearing that Richardson was Jimmy's guy. And you know what? Let's talk about this. Doesn't it make sense that you're the owner? You didn't fire Ballard, but how much trust are you having in Ballard with this quarterback deal after the failings of the past?
None.
Right?
You have no faith.
That's why we try to think
and
things.
that's why Saturday was here.
Yes.
No faith.
No faith.
I need a guy I can trust.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So you don't want to throw something out like this unless it's logical. But you would not trust.
No.
No way.
No. It's my billions of dollars. It's my heritage. It's my legacy. Everything
my family.
I am is tied into this. if I see a path and it's clear in my head, I'm going to go out of my way. I'm going to make noise, and we're going to do what I think. Because I think Richardson's the right player.
I'm not saying it's not, and we're going to find out. But I would say it's not like the Tribune Company owns this, and we're going to, we got some board member. It would be like if Ricketts. Although it's different because Jimmy was a general manager. I mean, you can say whether he was good or not, but he sat in that seat. He's been involved. This isn't a job. This is a passion. He studies football.
Right.
So at some point you say, look, I'm not firing your ass, but I'm also not listening to everything you say. And you, Ballard, are going to listen to me.
Right. On
a lot of these personnel. I can see that being totally logical.
That is a bad place to be as an owner. If you don't have kind of that flow chart,
right,
you got real problems. I mean, if you had, when you were at IU, if Greenspan came to you and said, hey, look, I don't know what all this ISO ball for Eric Gordon is.
Right.
You got to start running motion. Start screening away. What are you people doing? You'd have been like, why don't you take your reading glasses, your legal pad, and get out of my office?
But it's different. It's different just because this. All right, so it begs this question. You've been here longer than me. Does Jimmy Irsay have the kind of cachet as a personnel guy that after not 5 years ago, but after failings? Now you can say Rivers was a success, fine, but after the Wentz, after the Matt Ryan, does Jimmy Irsay? I'm talking about the personnel cachet that a reasonable person would listen to him in Chris Ballard's position.
Well, if you like getting paychecks,
As soon as I said it, I knew that was the answer because it is the answer.
Right, but here's the answer from the other end. When Jim Irsay figured out that he shouldn't be the GM, and they hired Bill Tobin to run stuff, the Colts got better. And then when they fired Tobin and they hired Polian, things got really good.
Yeah.
So all of the evidence would suggest that Jim Irsay is best served by sitting around signing checks and bidding on, rock artifacts instead of making personnel decisions. But you can't, if you got a championship quarterback, you're not going to let the guy go. So when the Falcons allowed Matt Ryan to go, you knew that he wasn't going to be the guy. You knew that the Eagles chose Hurts over Wentz. Well, what the hell are we going to do with Wentz? Go back to Rivers. The Chargers chose Herbert instead of Rivers. We got sloppy seconds 3 years in a row, and it hurt. So let's get to the front of the line at the MCL cafeteria and get the hot lasagna. Instead of waiting for somebody, to finish what's on their plate, and we take what's left.
I agree. That's why everything makes sense if I'm the owner to say, hey, I'm going to work with you. I'm going to give you a job, but we're going to do this a little more together than me just simply trusting you.
Yeah.
You and Dobbs and Morocco Brown and the rest of the cast of characters. I'm not blindly trusting. So again, I go back to Jimmy Irsay. All right, so let me ask you this. You saw Anthony Richardson.
Right.
What'd you think?
He's different. when he puts, it's almost like a horse in the Derby.
Yeah.
When he puts his foot in the ground and decides he's going to go, he goes.
So, yeah.
And in getting rid of the ball, it's really, really quick.
Yeah.
I mean, it's immediate. It's not always accurate, but it's immediate. And he has sort of a humble swagger that I really like with the media. He doesn't come in and try to sell the media on who he is.
Is he childish?
He's just him. He just comes in and answers questions, and he's comfortable, and he's humble, and he smiles, and it's not forced, it's not reserved. Like Frank Reich was always trying to make you like him. He was always like selling. There's no salesmanship to Anthony Richardson.
I
thought
throw
it was
something
good.
out
Yeah.
about Frank Reich? See what he said the other day?
No.
A play by Bryce Young as a backup freshman quarterback sold me on him.
He's exhausting. Why? Jeez.
I immediately thought of you. If you got to tell people you're a Mensa, you want to join a Mensa group, what are you doing?
Yeah.
No.
I knew 3 years ago before he was even a starter.
So what he was selling was the kid. He was selling the future. He was selling his big brain, which he could be 3 big brains. We would let him. But that's what he was selling. He was selling another load of bullshit to a new fan base that didn't see his mountaintop bullshit.
Yeah.
No, Ken, I swear to God, I saw that today, and I thought of you first thing, like, oh my God, come on. Hey, look, there's 83 of you, 26 likes. Let's go. Let's get that thing up to 50 in a hurry. Anyway, I thought, it's unbelievable.
You know, when the Colts signed Carson Wentz, and I was kind of excited. I thought, okay, he's back with Reich. This could work because I'm an idiot. People from Philadelphia, like, comments everywhere, you don't get it. You're gonna look and you're gonna see good stats and you're gonna think, he wasn't too bad. But then you're gonna have watched and you're gonna know how bad it was, and you're gonna get what I'm saying after you see it yourself. And I feel like we're serving that same purpose with the people of Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yeah, right.
You know,
right. Yeah, it's come full circle.
Yeah.
Now we're the
we're the
antagonists or whatever. Look, hey man, good for Frank. Go fight Raw. Yeah, go.
Make your money.
Yeah, man. That guy's made a pile of it. But see, back to Richardson for a second. So you talked about when he puts in his foot in the ground. We all know he can throw the football. You know, I'm reading from the local clowns. Oh, he laid that one in there. Okay, great.
He also misses.
I mean, that was what I was going to say. Where are you at with overall accuracy?
Oh, he's not consistently accurate. Either he hits guys right where he wants it, or he's way off. Yeah. That's what there's no defense. There's no hitting. There's nothing. There's just him grabbing a ball and a guy running like an out or a guy running a slant, and he's popping it in. Some he missed egregiously, but some were right on the money, and I think that there's some kind of physical thing that they're going to work on with his feet to get him to be more consistent.
How'd Minshew look?
He wasn't there. It's just rookies.
Oh, it's rookies. That's right. They all came in. So, I saw Downs doing a ladder drill, and everybody jumping up and down, standing on their head and shitting snowballs over the ladder.
He's a neat kid.
Is he?
You know, well, the story, and I assume that it's real, is that, and he told it, is that he texted Richardson. They're in the hotel. He's like, hey, let's go down to the parking lot and throw. So Richardson texts back, says, all right, I'll meet you downstairs. Because he's always got a football, Richardson does. Carries a football like everywhere he goes. And so they went down to the hotel parking lot, and they're throwing different routes.
Here in Indy, after they were drafted. Yeah. Oh, I like this.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, and Downs they asked him, what kind of routes were you running? He's like, routes? You know, we're not running routes. But like I was catching here, I'd put my hands up here and he'd throw it here. And then they asked Richardson about it. And I like the way Richardson sort of framed it. Oh, you know, Downs is a dog. All he wants to do is work. You know, he's got kind of that Florida thing going.
Yeah, a little southern.
Yeah, and so he was backing his guy, and he seemed to be happy here. Like, I'm not going to talk myself out of hoping before I see the on-field reason to lose hope.
Well, you saw him on the field. What did you think? Downs.
Oh, you know, I wasn't paying any attention. I got to tell you the truth. I was just watching number 5. I was watching Richardson, who's not 5 or who's not 15.
Right.
He's 5 because AR-15 isn't going to work.
That's tough.
Yeah, you can't call yourself AR-15.
That. That's not a marketing. That's a Bud Light marketing tool, as we've seen the genius of that. But I'm glad to see that because look, I think a lot of us, you know, we go Reggie or Marvin and Peyton, and then you had T.Y. and Luck, and you kind of, it feels like even someone like Justin Jefferson and Kirk Cousins, and feels like every great tandem is the quarterback and a guy that maybe came in at the same time.
You got to find that link. You got to put that together as quick as you can. And this gives Downs a leg up. I mean, Downs isn't stupid.
Right.
Downs knows he's got to get fed. And right now, rookie camp, he's the only port in the storm. So before Pittman gets there, before, Taylor, before Pierce, let's go to work and see if we can't build something.
Anybody else impress you?
I liked in the interviews. I liked the kid from Cathedral in Alabama. I talked to him. I liked him. Just watching guys. I mean, you're not going to see anything that's, you know, they're playing against air. So I can't tell if the corners are doing anything. They're just working on their footwork and stuff like that. But I'll tell you, the corners are freaking ginormous.
Really?
They are really tall. Like if they played basketball, if they had an all cornerbacks league basketball in the NFL, Colts are taking home the hardware.
I like it.
They're tall.
I like
Juju Brent is 6'3", 6'4". The Rush kid is, I think he's 6'3". Even the guy that they took in the 7th round is 6'2", 6'3". I mean, they're tall, they're rangy. I wish Brent's was faster, but, you know, 4.5, 340, that's not impressive for a corner with me. But you rank guys based on different stuff, and so if speed isn't important to the Colts and a cornerback, okay.
I'm excited to see because I like talent. If I ever went back to coaching, I think I'd recruit a penitentiary because I don't care anymore. I used to care about grades and all that shit. I'd be like, screw that.
Character's overrated.
Oh, fuck. No, I don't know if that's... I don't know. Here's the deal. I always say this in the NFL about character. The NFL starts with a pot this wide, and then for whatever the reason, it starts like a funnel. And next thing you know, very few get through, and most of the guys that get through and make it to the NFL are pretty bright dudes that are really good guys. I mean, seriously.
Well, let me walk back what I said. A lack of character as a defining characteristic is not attractive.
No, right.
But if you've got a really fast guy who's got great character, that is better than a really fast guy without great character. But I'll take the fast guy without great character before I take the slow guy with great character, always and forever.
That's the Indiana football. Every guy in the back. Well, we got this linebacker. The Rapogles, they run 4.10, but oh man, they'll hit you. Well, they don't catch you. It's like, oh, what? Okay, yeah, all right, we're gonna hit you. They'll hit you. I'll tell you what, they'll lay their hands on you. Well, okay, great.
And we've seen that recently with some
guys. Yeah.
Running just thrashing to try to catch tight ends and can't get there.
No, and that's the thing. It's like, how did Mallory's grandson look?
I didn't see him do anything. He talks real good.
I bet.
Yeah.
I bet. He knows football talk. His dad's a football coach. He's a football lifer.
It's the family business.
He knows the thing.
Yeah.
All right, so bottom line, because we saw rookie camp and we've got unicorns and we've got greatness and all that stuff, Colts over under wins.
7.
That's good. That's
high. Yeah, I think they're better.
I'm going to look it up right now. I really?
Yeah, I'll take 7.
No kidding.
I know in mock drafts, everybody's got them at like 3rd. In the 24 draft. I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're better than that.
The total over under, so I got to win 8 to win it.
Oh,
I would 6.5. All right.
Yeah, I think that 7 and 10 is reasonable.
I did see that actually. The line is 6.5. I saw that, and I was a little bit surprised by that. Do you think that's a bit of a function of that division once again not being?
Yeah, Tennessee's.
I mean, I get it. Everybody drafted well, but I mean, what's Tennessee doing? What's Texas doing? Or Houston doing?
Houston isn't going to be any good.
Is Jacksonville great? Like, you can't beat Jacksonville?
I think they come back to the mean.
I agree.
I think that their high water mark was last year.
All right, I'm going to give you a few. You ready?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Man. Chicago Bears. You know how many they won last year? 3.
Oh, right.
7.5.
Oh, no. No. That's Chicago. Yeah. Those boobs. I feel so sorry for Bears fans. And I still know a bunch of them up there. Yeah. Every single year, it's like, man, look at what we got. This is going to be awesome. I'm like, being psychotic. You have an ownership group. The McCaskies don't care about winning. They're still feasting on 1985 numbers, in money and passion. You don't have to win in Chicago to make the cash register ring, so they don't care.
I was shocked today. I was doing my show and I got the TV on and I'm like, 3 wins? I mean, you hear about Justin Fields like he's the second coming, and Matt Eberflus really turned that thing around.
Yeah.
3 wins?
Yeah.
Like, what do I think? I think the number, I'm going to go 6. I usually go really big on the Colts, and then people get on my ass because I always say they're going to win 13 or 14 just for the hell of it.
You know, an offline conversation with Kaplan would be really interesting because I think what he would tell you is that if you come out negative on the Bears, people are going to shit all over you in Chicago. They're going to turn on you, and you can't have that. Even Habarkish, who's a pretty by-the-numbers guy, pretty straight, you know what? He's very, very positive about the Bears. I'm just not buying it.
I'm not either. All right, Houston Texans over 6.5.
Under.
You think so?
Yeah.
Me too. I'm Colts are over 6.5. But here's the caveat with the Colts over 6.5. They believe in the Colts over 6.5 because you got to pay 40% juice.
Oh, really?
You got to pay $140 to win $100 back. You got to pay, and the under is going for plus 120. So you bet 100, you get 120
That
back.
changes the math a little bit.
It does.
Yeah.
I mean, they're buying the Colts in terms of that number. Jacksonville, you know what the number is? Now the math does change on this too because it's plus 125. Bet 100, you get 100. You get 225 back. You get your 100 plus 125. 10.5.
That's what I was hoping you weren't going to. I was going to say if it's anything over 9.5, it's wrong.
You got to win 11.
Yeah, I'm taking the under, and
that's
I
a
don't
lot
even
of
think
belief.
that's close.
That's a lot of belief in. I don't know. Let me ask you a question. I know he got good late, but is there a big like? Did Trevor Lawrence just knock it out of the park last year?
No.
I mean, I guess he's only going to go into his 3rd year, but I mean, damn, people are acting like the Jacksonville Jags got Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, wrapped up in Trevor Lawrence and freaking whatever that guy's name is. No.
He was okay.
Yeah,
But
Peterson's a good coach and everything else, but
Is he a top 5 quarterback in the AFC? I don't think that he is.
Well, who would your top 5 be?
Well, you got your Mahomes.
No doubt.
You've got.
Are you going to say
Allen.
Josh Allen just because he's a name, or you believe he's
No.
a top 5 quarterback?
I think he's a top 5 quarterback. Aaron Rodgers,
Yeah.
I'd still have in the top 5. Tua, I might have in the top 5 if he's healthy. His QBR was really good last year.
You would take
he ranked in the top 3 in the NFL, I think, in QBR.
You're a hater of Lamar Jackson. You just hate.
I think he's going to play 12 games,
So,
and he's going to make $185
Joe to
million.
the sea, I'm with you.
Tua statistically was really good. When he was on the field, he was really good. Herbert, I would take Herbert and Burrow.
Do you like Herbert?
You know what? I got to be honest. I've seen him play maybe twice.
I know.
I haven't seen the Chargers a lot, but I'll take Burrow and not think twice about taking him over Lawrence.
I would take Burrow. I would take Lamar Jackson. I would take Aaron Rodgers. I would take Mahomes. There's no question over Lawrence. I would take Josh Allen. Based on what you're saying, I'd probably take Tua. I am not going to take him right now, but I have got to believe that Russell Wilson has enough pride.
Wouldn't you think?
I mean, that he's going to have a big year. I've got to believe that whatever happened last year, going into the year, and he was dog shit, I got to believe something
But
good.
Deshaun Watson? Would you rather have Deshaun Watson or Trevor Lawrence?
I've never been a Watson fan. I saw him fumble at the goal line here. I thought he was really good, but in basketball, I call it good enough to get you fired.
Yeah.
I feel like the owner goes, "What are you doing? We got Deshaun Watson."
Yeah.
But he threw an interception late in this game. He fumbled on the goal line against the Colts, not once but twice.
You're fired. Here's $16 million.
Oh, I take it. Yeah, I take it. No, I want to correct that last comment. Us guys did not say Tua. That guy said Tua.
Only because of the statistics. I didn't watch the Dolphins play more than twice. If they're not playing the Colts or the Bears, I generally don't see it too often.
I feel like I watched Tua. We go to Naples for a week or so in Florida Christmas, and I feel like I'm always at this one bar. It's called the North Naples Country Club. It's not a country club. It's not a golf course. It's a dive bar that's freaking awesome. Our boy Paulie Balls loves it, and we get T-shirts and we sit there at this smelly dive bar, and we're at the country club watching the Dolphins. I feel like it's the only time I really watch the Dolphins.
Right.
Unless I guess they're against the Patriots on a Thursday night or something. You know what the Jets over-under is?
8.5?
9.5.
Oh.
That's like double what the Jets have ever done.
It's
No?
I think who's that guy down in Houston, the Mattress King?
Yeah.
Guy with the 1
Mac or whatever?
Yeah, maybe Greenberg. Maybe Mike Greenberg's walking up to the window with 1.2 million to put it on the Jets just to lift that. Yeah.
All right, last one. Well, I can do a couple more, but you know what the Titans are? What would you guess?
8.5.
No, 7.5.
Okay.
The Buccaneers are 6.5. The highest that I have seen, I've got the 49ers at 11.5. The Eagles at 10.5. Now it's early and this will all change. Do not make your predictions because somebody's going to get hurt. Most I saw, Chiefs are 11.5. 10.5 is the Jags. 6.5 is the Colts. Basically, everybody's in the 6.5 to 9.5 range. I mean, damn near the whole league. Cincinnati's 11.5 with Burrow. Even though, they have Frank Reich, and he loved Bryce Young when Bryce was like 2 years old coming in Pee Wee football. They're 7.5. So, I don't know.
I've never seen a 7-year-old chop his feet like Bryce Young. It was just awesome.
Well, his vision.
Yeah.
His vision was incredible.
Untrammeled.
But that, don't bet it. Cashman, get on here and tell people, do not bet over-unders until like the minute before camp because, frankly, somebody gets hurt and what? Okay, let's go this route. What would an over-under change 11.5 Cincinnati if Joe Burrow came up with another knee? Where would that thing go?
Go down at least 3.
I would think 7 or 8. Yeah. I agree. So people get all excited about this, and let's never...
Yeah, there's no hurry.
No.
You get no benefit from being early to the window.
No. And then there's a Eugene Robinson factor. I think it was Eugene Robinson.
Yeah, with the Falcons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man of the Year, night before the Super Bowl, prostitution, bust.
Sadly.
Hey.
Character. All right.
Yeah. I mean, but so don't do it. Let's just put it that way. Don't do it. And by the way, we're at 120. We only got 50 likes. That thing needs a double, please.
Yeah, hit the like button.
All right,
Look
so
at here.
let me go another direction. I got to bet the unders, 11.5 or 12. I don't know. Somebody's got to win these games. Is parity based on those numbers? Is it now more than ever? Because usually, I used to think there was, in a 17-game season, there was a 12.5 last couple of years. I don't think there was ever 13.5. But there was a 12.5.
You got to have a lot go right to hit 13.
I agree.
Yeah, that's health. That's like wacky good luck.
Yeah.
Plus a great roster, plus a good coaching staff. You got to have a lot.
And you better have a quarterback that stays healthy.
Yeah.
It was 8.
And we don't know what the 49ers are what?
They were 10.5.
Who the hell?
Or 11.5.
Who they got playing quarterback?
That's a great
question. Is Purdy going to be able to play?
That's a great question. I think that's up in the air. I think people think that it's. I've read where it's either yes, maybe, no chance. I mean, it's because whatever he had, they say isn't going to heal.
You could have Sam Darnold as your starting quarterback for a team that's at 12.5.
Who, by the way, I saw this the other day. It wasn't Mike Shanahan. It was the Morocco Brown of the 49ers that said, we've never had a thrower of the football better than Sam Darnold in this organization since I've been here. Come on. I mean, seriously, come on. I mean, I'm all for. Look, nobody gives superlatives better than me. Moondrops Distillery is the greatest spirits you'll ever taste in the world. Kent Sterling has the greatest hair you will ever find on a man over 60 years old. I'll give you platitudes. My wife says you are the king of the superlative, but come on. You
turned it into an insult. You could have said 50. You could have said 40. You had to go 60, and you turned the superlative into an inferior.
Why is over 60 an insult? You've lived life.
Yeah,
your hair true. The older you are, the better your hair, the better it makes you look. Hey, he's got the best hair for a 20-year-old. No, he doesn't, because 20-year-old,
Yeah, you get the wavy.
Yeah, I got Jared in here. If he walked by here without a shirt, the women audience would pick up.
I would have the best hair on the PGA Senior Tour.
I agree with that. Is Angel Jimenez, that Jimenez guy that puts it in a ponytail in the back? That's hard.
That's true.
That's hard to overcome.
He always wears the train engineer cap way too high.
All right, I got to ask you a question. We saw it last night. I've never seen this before. I've never seen an NBA owner
Yeah.
get his team a point in an NBA game, nor have I seen him flop in an NBA game. Mat Ishbia, former walk-on Michigan State, current owner of the Suns. God bless you, baby. What'd you think?
I thought it was awesome.
I did too.
Like, good for him. Yeah, Jokic with the minor elbow, and you would have thought he got hit by a truck. My question is, where in the hell is Herb Simon? Why is Herb Simon sitting up there instead of courtside where he could draw a technical foul on a guy like Jokic?
You know what else he could draw? What if Jokic gets suspended? Like, how invaluable is your own?
Yeah, no kidding.
Now, I think he's got to live, with $10 billion and owning a team, but he's also got to live with the flopping owner stigma, which I don't think is that bad.
It wouldn't bother me in the least.
Not even a little. But hey, look, I understand. You don't have to respond to this. This is the kind of stuff that gets me in trouble. I understand that the media defends their own. We hear Stephen A. Smith and Kendrick Perkins talk about my brother when you're talking about African Americans. My Serbian brother, Nikola Jokic, should not be suspended. He did nothing wrong. The owner got in his way. He elbowed him first. He was just going to get the ball. He had a flashback to European basketball where the ball gets in quick and you go like in Little League. Hey, my Serbian brother should not be suspended, fined, nothing. In fact, I'm demanding a formal apology from both the referees and Ishbia and the ball, for Christ's sake. I want to apologize. I want an apology to my Serbian brother because he got screwed last night. Don't at me.
Well put.
Thank you.
I wish I had an Irish dog in this hunt. But sadly, the Irish...
Well, they're always fighting and getting thrown out.
Drinking our way out of the league.
I will bet you, in that scrum, there was an Irish guy instigating because it wasn't just Ishbia or whatever his name is. There was other people. There's a red-nosed Irishman somewhere in there, shoving, pushing. Yeah.
Let me ask you something, because I had a comment, and this is way off the beaten path. Bennedict Mathurin.
Yeah.
What kind of a basketball player is he? What's his upside? What's his high end?
Pritchard asked me that after I went to a game. I said, look, Mathurin's great. I go, he's going to be good enough for a while, but he better learn to shoot like these guys can shoot. I'm not saying he can't shoot, and his numbers are pretty good because he takes good shots. But what I mean by that is Andrew and I were watching game, whatever game it was last night. It was on at like 7, 8 o'clock. So it was a Denver game.
Yeah.
Every single time, the best player, the Jamal Murray or the Devin Booker, best perimeter player on the other team, got a look, drilled it. And I'm not talking about a great look. Seth Greenberg always says, college basketball, you make open shots. NBA, you make open shots and hard shots. He's got to be a guy that can go get 40 on a big night against the best defense, and he's got to figure it out with the jump shot because, he's not very big. He's not as big as I thought, to tell you the truth. I stood next to him.
Skinny.
Yeah. So, if you watch Jamal Murray or you watch Devin Booker or you watch any of these guys that are just fantastic perimeter players, you got to have one of those guys that can go get you 40.
Can he be the third best player in a championship contending team? That's my definition of role player is anybody who can't be that.
Who's the third best player? Let's use this. Who's the third best player on the Bucks? So, and the reason I'm asking that is because their first two are clearly defined. Right. Giannis and Middleton are clearly the two best on the Bucks. The third, I don't think Drew Holiday was there. You know what I mean? Or who's the third best? So Phoenix is beating right now. Phoenix is beating Denver. So you've got, think about their team. You've got Durant, who's an all-pro.
Right.
There's a difference between being an NBA all-star and all-pro.
Right.
Like there's a difference between being a Pro Bowl guy, and an all-pro.
Right.
I mean, every slap that's, held the guy Hundley for the Ravens made the Pro Bowl, for crying out loud. So there's a difference. Durant, Booker, Ayton.
Yeah.
Right now, and that's without Chris Paul.
Right.
And they're not good enough. I mean, everybody thinks now LeBron is different. Davis, would he be the third best? Austin Reeves is in there. Derek Schroeder's in there.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Would he be the third with that guy?
Yeah. He could be that.
He could be the third with the Bucks and Giannis. Like,
All right.
Giannis is so good, and even, Anthony Davis, when he wants to play, he had 30 and 23 the first game. I mean, if they're
And then
that
11?
good,
Something like
well, he didn't
11.
show up for work. He just didn't show up for work. And tonight they're going to play, and if you're watching the game, I'm going to look this up while we're talking because I'm trying to give you a bet. I bet tonight, I got to bet tonight that Anthony Davis plays his brains out.
Yeah.
Here's a question for Pacer fans. Is Halliburton good enough to be a guy, either one or two, on a championship team?
Well, you got to have the guy.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
you got to.
Yeah, he
All
can't
right.
be the
Is
guy.
Miles Turner evolving? I'm trying here. I'm trying.
Even if he was Miles O. Turner and was pure Irish, I wouldn't come with
Miles
that.
Turner was Serbian. My Serbian brother. I'm going to look this up, but what was I looking up? I forget.
A bet for tonight.
Yeah. And it was going to be, what's his face? It was going to be over points for Anthony Davis. I've got to believe that having a leader like LeBron, having a media, and Anthony Davis has to look in the mirror, and I'm guessing LeBron and these guys have got to be up his ass about, you didn't show. We need you to show tonight.
Did you see in the 76ers game, I think it was yesterday, right? Embiid wasn't being aggressive enough. So one of his teammates, and I can't remember who, got in his grill, in his ear, screaming at him.
Interesting.
It was interesting, and they came back and they won that game in overtime against the Celtics. But man, he's the MVP of the league, and you just showed his ass up, you just in his ass.
I bet you it was PJ Tucker.
It was PJ Tucker.
I bet you it had to be.
It was.
He don't
it
care.
was.
What does he care?
Yeah.
He can beat everybody up in the league.
He can.
No one's messing. He's 38. He's just trying to stand in the corner and make a jump shot.
How come he's playing on so many teams? I've liked PJ Tucker forever. I would have kept PJ Tucker
he fits a role with great players. If you watch PJ Tucker, he stands in the left or the right corner. I'll give you something from tonight or last night in that game you're talking about and PJ Tucker. What a mistake. I've never been a James Harden fan. I think James Harden is a sissy. I don't know what word I'm allowed to say, but I said it. He doesn't defend. He does all the easy stuff in basketball. Dribble. She doesn't do any of the hard stuff. PJ Tucker, not BJ. He doesn't sprint back on defense. Guys run past him. He doesn't slide over to get in front. He doesn't defend. Nothing. But in this series, he's been big game James. The first game, last play of the game, Joe Mazzulla drew up a post-up for a very confident posting player in Marcus Smart with 6 seconds to go against James Harden. James Harden guarded the hell out of him. Ball was turned over. Sixers won game one without Embiid.
Yeah.
Yesterday, you cannot make this mistake. Ball in the middle of the court, which means there's no help. Help has to come from the side. PJ Tucker on the left side, where he's a good three-point shooter. Right here on the right side corner was James Harden. Jaylen Brown decided for some freaking reason, I'm leaving James Harden.
Yeah.
Hey, look, I know PJ
that.
Tucker can hit a corner three.
Yeah.
But I ain't leaving that guy at $40 million at hot as hell. I'll make the journeyman player have to make, and I'm not saying he wouldn't have made it, but I got to tell you, those are the things in coaching. People see and they, oh man, what a great three. Man, as the coach, Mazzulla, assistants, you're like, Jaylen, you got to
no timeout at the end.
I don't really have a problem with it. I'll tell you why. First off, they called timeout in game one. It didn't work.
Okay.
Second, you're paying a lot of guys. You got flow. You got the ball. I thought, and this is what always happens. The guy with the ball thought 15 seconds was a long time. They didn't do shit until, and then once they started, really, Tatum, and this was great defense by the Sixers, Tatum was not able to operate in the middle of the floor. He had to operate down the lane line left side.
Right.
And that completely limits who or what you can get the ball to, where you can get the ball. And so I'm going to say I didn't mind it, but as soon as I saw Smart slow down, I would have called a timeout. Because he was wasting too much time.
Yeah.
And, I got burned one time with...
Tatum slow down.
No, Smart had the ball. At the beginning of the possession.
In the beginning, and then they gave it to Tatum.
And then they gave it to Tatum.
He went to the wing.
Yeah, and he got the ball too late where you couldn't dance with it. You couldn't make a move left, get into the middle of the court, let the defense spread. So then I would have called a timeout. Like, you don't have to call a timeout immediately. You can read. College coaches are really good at this. College coaches will wait, they'll see the play, and then they'll go, okay, it's not happening. I thought Missoula should have done that. But here's the other thing. I always say this, Kent. I believe this. College basketball players, the older ones, are pretty smart. Like Trace Jackson Davis, smart player.
Yeah.
But NBA players have a PhD in basketball. They just do. They're so freaking smart. Now, they do stupid things, and we all know, but they have a PhD in how to play, where to play, like you said about PJ Tucker yelling at him. So at some point, you got to put it on the players to say, why in the hell does a coach need to call timeout? You guys have played 8 zillion games in this environment. Well, I don't want the defense set. Let's go.
Well, and it becomes a result-based grade,
of course,
right? If you miss a shot, you should have called timeout. If you make the shot, you were a genius.
I told you this, and the people can argue with me, and I'm sad. Coach Knight and I had this conversation when I was actually not coaching with him. He got so pissed, and I don't care. I know I'm right. He didn't call timeout against Syracuse. Nothing to do with let the defense flow or we taught you. It had everything to do with he did not want to take the blame. 110%. We all knew it. Hey, do you think the best shot was a falling out of bounds to your left behind the backboard?
It was genius.
Right? He did not want to take the. We all knew it. I was young and fellas like.
So you broached this with Bob Knight.
Yeah.
And he wasn't happy.
Oh, he's pissed. Was he pissed?
How did this come up? How do you say this to Bob Knight?
He was being a jackass, and we were. I think we were eating. And I go, Coach, you're full of shit. I go, you didn't call timeout, not because we'd worked it, because we never worked on this. We never worked on late game situations. Never.
Yeah.
Like, never. Well, 3 seconds ago, we're taking the ball out of bounds. I go, Coach, we never worked on that. I go, you didn't call timeout because you beat yourself up. That's how I said it. You beat yourself up, and you don't want to beat yourself up for running a bad play. That's fucking. I did this in '76 when Cruz threw the ball up, and Benson, that's what he said. Benson tipped it in. I don't know. I listened to that game on the radio. I remember driving on occasion. I go, but you didn't, because and I did couch it in such a way. Now that I'm thinking about it, in such a way that it was a little bit complimentary to him. You beat yourself, because Samson would be like, yeah, well, Eric Gordon missed a shot. I don't give a shit. Let's go on to the next game.
Yeah.
Knight would pound himself and the assistants, me or Cruz or whoever, for not running the right play, even though we stood outside the huddle as he drew up the play. And we didn't have any plays. So he was drawing it up by feel. So, yeah, he pounded. I remember he pounded a table. It was at Southside Smitty's or something. It's on the South Walnut all the way down damn near to Bloomington South High School. This little place. It was just him and me. We're having lunch. It didn't go well the rest of the day, but I'm like, Coach, so it's always been my thing. Coach, so you're telling me with Alford, and here was his response, with Alford on the court and Daryl Thomas getting 23, that's the play we drew up. He goes, I'll never forget. He goes, we got the ball to Thomas right on the block. What the fuck did he do with it? I knew he'd be scared. I knew he wasn't going to do shit with it, but we got it to him on the block. Okay, you're right about that. He goes, if you watch it, Alford was double teamed. Hillman, nobody cared about, and he was going to go to the backboard. And Key Smart was hot as hell, and he was. He was really hot. Right. So he made the argument, but the argument wasn't that what I just did is calm. It was, you're fucking stupid. And you're dumb. You know what I mean? That was one. And then the last time we ever had a chat was when I told him he was full of shit about putting coaches on the NCAA selection committee. That's the last conversation we ever had. It was in the basement, building 4 at ESPN. He was ready to do a hit I was sitting, they had the cameras and all this set up over here, and I was sitting down there. One of the interns had given all of us, it was Selection Sunday, and they'd given all of us brackets, and we had to fill them out in like 5 minutes to put them out.
Right.
And he came in, and he was being a jackass. He goes, well, you're sour. I go, Coach, I ain't sour. I love you, man. Whatever. Are we going to talk or we're not going to talk? Whatever. And then he started, okay, Danny, well, I think they should put coaches on the selection committee because I think that we had just done I'd done a thing on. I said, no. I said, you're full of shit. I said, here's the deal. Maybe I told this on the show, did I? Have I told this story? Oh, I said, you're full of shit. I said, here's the deal. I said, you dislike me so much right now that if I were coaching and I worked 16 years for you, I said, you dislike me. Murray Bartow worked for you for 1 year and you kissed his dad's ass. And you would put his team on before my team, regardless of the numbers, if we were both that large. That's how every coach acts.
Right.
And I told him, yeah, I said, coaches just make everything personal. I said, you can't even drive your own car around. He got really pissed. I mean, but it didn't matter. I wasn't working for him. I didn't need him. He's sitting around the corner. And he hit the table. Well, I just think we. I go, Coach, that's fine. I go, you would. I remember I used Julio Salazar. You'd put Julio Salazar's team on before you'd put my team. You guys are all full of shit. I'm saying this as a former coach. I'd make it personal to. And he, well, I just think he ended. The last thing he ever said to me, I just think coaches should be on the committee. And he got up, hitched up his pants, and walked over there. Oh, he was pissed because they would be coaches on the NCAA basketball selection committee.
Terrible.
They're the most petty guys alive. He beat me in recruiting. I know he paid for this kid. I'm not helping him.
Right.
You think
I wouldn't even put him on the rules committee.
I wouldn't either. No. I tell you this, going back since it's story time with Dan, but Dale Brown was really smart. Dale Brown, when Knight coached the Olympics, Dale Brown said college coaches should not coach the Olympics. It's unbelievable recruiting tool. He's probably right.
Right.
But at that time, college coaches always coach the Olympics.
Right.
He said Knight's cheating, but he called it legal cheat. I forget what he said,
Ooh.
But he said, well, he's cheating. And Knight's like, Knight always had great comebacks. I can't remember. It wasn't I looked down at the other bench. It was Dale Brown, and I felt pretty good. But I don't know. Coaches are the most petty. Basketball. I can't speak to football. But basketball coaches, well, he cheated to get P.J. Tucker to come there, and I'm not putting that son of a bitch.
Right.
Then when you see each other, hey, how you doing? Good to see you.
Yeah.
But yeah, Knight did not like anybody to.
That I was talking to Bob Lovell, and Bob was running like the Horizon League or something at the time, and he goes, "Hey, guess who I just got off the phone with?" He said, Raleigh Massimino. He was coaching Cleveland State.
Yeah.
You say, yeah, he's furious about the officiating and blah, blah, blah. I said, how many of those guys, how many coaches you got? I think they had 10 teams. How many coaches call you every Monday about the previous weekend? He said all 10.
Yeah.
Every Monday, everybody got screwed.
5-1.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
exactly. So
I had to fly out once with a whole bag of tape to see Bob Workman. And I had to put Knight on the phone, speakerphone, while I was showing tape to Bob Workman, who was the head of officials, I think it was Canton, Ohio, or somewhere in Ohio, a private plane. Knight and I sat up until like 4 a.m, piecing this call in the Minnesota game against this call. I remember one of the balls bounced up, hit the guide wires, came and scored, and they counted it. Boom, boom, and it takes forever.
Yeah.
I mean, for frickin' ever. And I remember I got up, I went home around 4, I got up around 7 or 8, drove to the airport with my bag, got in, flew, Workman picked me up, we went to his insurance office in the back, he had video things set up, he was an insurance agent, he would happen to be the head of officials in the Big Ten basketball.
Wow.
Yeah. And Knight, well, put me on the phone. Right, when you get there, you put me on the phone. So I put him on the phone, we hit a speaker. Danny, you tell him that. I go, you're on speaker, coach. Oh, it's unbelievable. Sorry about that. We hijacked the show with stories from the road.
They don't care. The officials don't care. Although I do think often, you can't do it anymore like you used to. Like the make goods.
Oh, no. I got a call from ESPN, and they got a call because I said, numerous times when I first started doing games. All right, you'll see a call down here against Indiana after a great call down here. And it was always right. I mean, or within 2 or 3 plays, somebody. And then I said, well, I just don't understand it. These guys are making 50, and I knew how much they were making. These guys are making 1,500 plus expenses. I don't know how you just don't come in and call the game. Oh, man. I forget who. I get a call. Like, Dan, you can't talk about how much officials are making. You can't talk about. I'm like, I thought that was pretty good insight. You don't get that anywhere else.
Nope.
Right?
Nope.
But you're right. They're on to the next game, man.
Yeah. Talking to Bo Borowski, and like everybody in Indy knows him socially somehow. But they show up, they do their best, they move on. And the problem, like the block charge call yesterday with, I think it was Embiid and Smart. Like, that's not black and white. That's not clearly delineated in the rules, just like in the NFL, it's not with PI. It's feel, it's gray area, it's 55-45, and it's tough. That's a tough call.
NFL though, NFL used to have 20 years of experience to get into the NFL. The diversity now 5 to 10. They got rid of everybody of any experience, so that's gone down. But I will say this. You're right about the Embiid block charge, but you can't miss, and Doc Rivers, who's the coach of the Sixers, talked about it after the game. I mean, my man Jason Tatum he hit the and then step back, and he's like, "Hey, look, you just called a touch foul down here. Like, how's the game?" And that's an example of a coach wanting to make sure the game is called consistently on both ends. So I assume we'll see Doc Rivers getting fined. I assume Jokic will get not suspended. But I will say, to your point of a few weeks ago, your point was you like the angst in the NBA playoffs. It brings viewers.
Oh, yeah. Right? You got to have a subplot. Otherwise, it's just laundry. I'm not interested in I don't care if the Suns win or what do I care? I care about the drama. I care about the friction. I would still pay money today. These guys, they all got to be in their 60s. If the Bad Boys and the Bulls from 1990 got back together and played basketball, I'm buying a ticket and I'm sitting and I'm watching. I can't wait.
I think as long as Isaiah's there, Rodman, Laimbeer, and Jordan, and Pippen.
Laimbeer makes it everything.
Yeah, I would rather. Who would be the main attraction? Probably Jordan. Let's take him out. Okay, right. Let's take him out. Would Isaiah be the next attraction? Would Laimbeer? Would Rodman?
To me, it's Laimbeer.
I agree.
Yeah, Laimbeer is. Do you know him?
Met him once. He was a dick.
Oh, absolutely. Like the worst person, the most immediately unlikable person I've ever met in my life.
Yes.
I brought him up to the studio for a Kravitz and Eddie interview. I had to meet him at the Conrad. I was like, "Coach, I'll walk with you." And he looked at me like, "You piece of shit." All right, and we walked, and I was like, "I'm not even talking to this guy." No interest, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But and so I'll go, or I used to. I'd go to Fever games when his Vegas team was playing, just to watch how he interacted with his players. Complete indifference to them.
Didn't talk to him.
It was awesome.
Did not talk to him.
It was crazy.
I was in a suite with him in the Detroit Shock in Detroit, and he didn't talk to anybody. His players are there. Girls are way different than guys. Like, they kind of like that he wasn't talking to them.
Yeah.
Like, they all kind of were amused by him. Like, Laimbeer, I would argue that Laimbeer is probably the one guy that's the exact same off the court that you pictured him being on the court. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the same when he's alone as when he's with people, and that's weird. Right. He is indifferent to humanity at a level that I've never experienced. Awesome.
And Michael Jordan's son is now Stuppen Larsa Pippen, Scottie Pippen's wife. So we would have a hell of a lot going on there.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Oh. Marcus. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, he's the young one, right?
He's the older one.
Okay.
Jeffrey's the younger one. I recruited Jeffrey. I called the house. It went to a switchboard.
No kidding.
True story, yeah. I like Jeffrey. Jeffrey's like, "Oh, man, I can't wait to tell my dad that you're in Loyola Academy recruiting me." Yeah, give me a number. He gave me the house number.
All right.
All right, man.
Good show.
Another good show in the books. 126 people, 79 likes, unacceptable. Like it, subscribe it, and subscribe, please. We need to get the subscriptions up to $5,000. Thanks.
Let's go.